Welcome, parents, to week 6 of the Ready program. Can you believe we are already in week 6? It has been such an exciting time for me to watch your children grow in class, and I hope you are enjoying seeing that growth at home and are very proud of yourselves for all the hard work you're putting in. It may seem like work, it may seem like a lot, but the connections you're building with your child, these are memories that are going to last a lifetime for them. All the opportunities and time you take with your child is so important to them, and I'm sure they just love that time with you. So let's get started on week 6. Our two big things that we're talking about this week are handwriting and high frequency words, formerly known as sight words. The handwriting component of the Ready program focuses on the correct formation of letters and specifically addressing proper pencil grip, proper formation of letters. And we have really introduced a lot of those activities already with just manipulatives, that your child being able to see the letters in their name, move those letters around, identify those letters, really getting a connection with their name. And for the young child, seeing their name in print is so important to them. It personalizes everything and it makes them feel special to see their name in print. They start to recognize it in their name tag at school. They see it on backpacks. Anything that they see labeled at home that has their name really has a self-esteem building component to them. Names are special. It's linked just to them. And so the handwriting component of the Ready program does the exact same thing. So handwriting, we'll be discussing that. And then we're also going to be discussing high frequency words. High frequency words means exactly that. It's words that we see often in print when we're introducing print to children. They are frequently seen, high frequency words. They used to be called sight words, and it's actually a concept objective that is taught in the school once they get to pre-K and kindergarten. So we're giving them that head start by introducing high frequency words to the children. And what research has found, when a child is able to learn these high frequency words, it improves their comprehension and their fluency in their reading, because they don't have to sound out those small words that you see all the time. They automatically learn them and know them just by looking at them. So it really improves that fluency in their reading and they become better readers. So let's get started this week with handwriting and high frequency words. The first handwriting activity that we are going to work on this week is called I Can Write My Name. So this activity, you're going to take Post-it notes and you're going to write your child's name, one letter per Post-it note, and you'll put them on a surface. It can be done on a table, it can be done up on a wall, whatever works easiest for you. And then you're going to take strips of paper and put them under each letter of your child's name. And then on those strips, we're going to write your child's name for them, and I have done it in orange so they can trace over it. So the purpose of this activity is that they see each individual letter in their name. They learn to identify each individual letter in their name, and now they're going to write it. This will be their model, and this is where they'll do their writing. Now, if your child's already writing their name, they don't have to have necessarily these letters as a model for them. Wherever your child is developmentally, that's where you want to start. Again, we want your child to be successful and challenged, but not frustrated. So under each of these, we will have your child trace the one letter, move to the next one. And as they're writing, I want you to talk about the letter that they're writing. Oh, you're writing the letter A. The A in your name is an uppercase A. The beginning letter in our name is always an uppercase. They move to the second letter. Oh, what letter are you writing? Ask them the question. Yes, you are writing the letter I. I like how it's made with straight lines. use some of that vocabulary that you have used in the past activities. Talk about the lines and shapes of the letters, the curves. Talk about the letter sound. Oh, I hear your name, Aiden. Talk about the sounds that, oh, I can hear that D, den. Oh, you hear that D in your name? So go ahead and use the other terminology, vocabulary that you have used in the other lessons as they're writing their name. Now you will notice what's really, really important when we're working with children and their name, that we always have the uppercase at the beginning and we use lowercase for the rest of the letters. The thought was before in education that when a child's learning to write their name developmentally, it's easier to write in all uppercase letters because the majority of that is straight lines and it's easier for the child to do developmentally. But what we have found in education is then the child comes to school with the habit of all uppercase and we have to make that change. And it's often difficult to move from what you once learned as your name, all uppercase, to the uppercase and lowercase. So we want to start with good handwriting habits. So we want to have uppercase at the beginning and lowercase for the remaining of their name. So again, uppercase, lowercase. Give them the model up here. Talk about the letters in their name. What's the first letter? What's your last letter in your name? And then go ahead and do the strips. They can trace if that's where they are. Trace the letters, talk about them, do this several times, and then go ahead and let them try it on their own in the last two spaces. Again, don't just do all A's, then all I's, all D's. We want them to see that sequence of letters that builds their name. I can write my name. A great activity to introduce handwriting. Again, your children's fine motor, where they are at, they may not be able to make very small letters like this. Oftentimes their letters are not in a straight line and they're all over the place, or they might be much larger than this. So if this is a difficult activity for your child as far as making that smaller print and writing smaller, you can take this outside and do it with chalk and have their name be larger so they can write larger. Again, you can adapt this activity to where your child is and where they are working right now so we can make them feel successful. I can write my name. We are going to continue our My Word book again this week. I know many of you may be all have done most of the letters. Currently, right now, our focus has been on letters A through L. J, K, and L is our emphasis this week. But if your child is doing Z and they've moved on to W, that's fine too. There's an opportunity to add to the pages, so just keep working. But this week, what you may want to do, if you haven't done that page already, or you want to add to it, is do the letter that starts your child's name. So if your child's name is Wyatt and it begins with W, then you'll want to turn to the W page and they can write their name on that page. You can take a photograph of them and print it out and paste it to that. They can draw a picture of themselves. They can write the W, give that connection with their name in this book. You can do that with other family members, that we all have names that represent who we are, and you can talk about those names in the book. Add family names to the other pages. Add mommy to the M page, daddy to the D page. Go ahead and really talk about that connection to who we are and that we're identified by your name. So my word book is going to continue with that emphasis on names. The next activity is called Hop on Words. In your bag of materials, you have high frequency words that several pages of them, and you are going to cut out 2 words this week. We are going to be using just I and me. No coincidence, since we're talking about their name, your child's name. So I and me are the only 2 words that we are going to be working on this week. We will be adding words as we go. So we're going to take Hop on Words. It's an activity where we take these high frequency words. You can introduce them and talk about them. Now, these are words that we see in our books. This word is the letter I, but we can also read this book in print, and it means I. Yourself, I am, I see. And they made a book about I see, and you can go back to that book and actually show, look, we've already talked about this word. This word is I. The other word we're going to talk about is me. Introduce that word, high frequency word. What letter does me begin with? You hear that M sound? E, me. So talk about the two words, and then you can move to the activity, hop on words. I suggest, to make it easy, is to go ahead and put those words on small pieces of paper. You can use index cards, you can do sticky notes, because we want to make several of them. You might want to make at least 5 I's and 5 me's, because we're going to put these on the floor. Now, we don't want them to slip and fall, so if you need to tape down the index cards so they don't move around too much, the sticky notes should stay put. But the activity is hop on words. So you're going to have your child hop to a word. And at first that may be what you do, hop to any word, and then they are to look at it and tell you what word is that. And you may have to read it for them. That word is I. What is the word? I. Hop to another word. Or maybe you say, can you find another I to hop to? And they can hop to that word. What word is that? That word is I. Just keep reinforcing these two words. Hop to another word. What word is that? That word is me. That's right. Do you hear that beginning M sound? Me. Spell me for me. Have them spell it. Have them say it. Have them give you the letter sounds. Again, we really want to incorporate all these skills that we have been talking about and use that academic vocabulary. You know, the I word is spelled with one letter, so it's uppercase. Me, we have a lowercase m and a lowercase e. So they're going to be hopping to these two words. And you can ask them to specifically hop to the word me. You can ask them specifically to hop to the word I. You can have them find another word that is the same and hop to it. Then if they're doing this pretty successfully, go ahead and add the child's name on a card. And then they can read that name too. So their high frequency word of I, high frequency word of me, and high frequency word of their own name. When they hop to that, have them read it. And that's your name. Have them spell it. Touch each letter individually. Talk about the uppercase letter. Go ahead and use that vocabulary. Now, when they're doing this fairly well, and we're going to be adding words as we go ahead and move to a book and see if they can find these two high frequency words in print in some of the books that they have. And you just don't have to even read the story. You can take a letter walk or a word walk, what I like to call it in class. Let's take a word walk through the book. And I would give everyone a book in class, and they would open it up. I said, who has this word in their book? Everyone see if they can find the word me in their book. And they may not have it. Does anyone have the word I in the book? And we would go through our sight words looking for words. You can do that with the letter hunt, but we're really encouraging these high frequency words, even if they're still struggling with their letter recognition. Introduce these sight words. Sometimes they make a better connection to words instead of individual letters, because once they're in print, all those letters are together, and it can be difficult to decipher individual letters, but they might do better with words. So hop on words is our introduction to high frequency words, or words that we see often in print. The next activity is chalk words. This is an outdoor activity, so you're going to need some good weather and some chalk. Similar to the hop on words, we are going to be writing our high frequency words in chalk out on the concrete. So they're going to be a little bit bigger than the small print you have seen in Hop on Words and in the I Can Write My Name activity. So this gives the child an opportunity to use a larger stroke and work on that better grasp of their writing utensil. I did not discuss that in I Can Write My Name, but I really want you to encourage that proper grasp of the writing utensil. We really want to move from this fisted grip to even up here to give them the 2-finger and thumb tripod. They can still be doing, I would rather see this than the whole grip. And again, getting that forearm down closer to the writing surface instead of raising their hand. When they have their arm like this up high, they're going to tire easily. So concentrate on that when we're doing our chalk letters outside. Work on that proper grasp or grip on the writing utensils. So we're going to do high frequency words with our chalk. You can trace the little word for them on the concrete and then have them trace over it. You write it first, they write it in a different color. It's fun to do rainbow writing this way, where you might start with one color, they trace it with another, you write over it with another until you have that rainbow effect on the chalk. They really enjoy that. You can also do the letters in their name. And again, we want to do about 3 or 4 inch letters to give that full movement, that whole muscle memory of what those words look like and feel like when I write them. They may not write them in the correct size. They might not get them in the correct order, but they're learning that memory, that muscle memory that, oh yes, this is a W. It's the first letter in my name. And their brains and their muscles work together, and they, what we call muscle memory. And then it becomes just natural for them to write their name. They don't even have to think about, oh, what does a W look like? Oh, that's right, I start up here. That muscle memory develops as we have repetition and practice. So we want to encourage it in a smaller format with pencil, markers, crayons, and writing smaller, but we also want to encourage that larger writing activity so they have more, have a better control and can write larger. So the chalk writing is a fun activity and a different way to introduce it. Again, talk about those letters and words that they're writing. Use that academic vocabulary. Can you point to the M in me? Can you point to the E in the word me? What sound is the beginning letter? What is the beginning letter sound of the word me? Really talk about what the children are writing so they can make those letter sound associations and learn to better recognize those high frequency words. So chalk letters is our high frequency activity to do outside. The next activity is say it, make it, write it. This activity is going to be done with the 2 high frequency words we introduced this week. And you can also use the child's name and the individual letters that they have been working on. So the objective of this activity is to have your child say what's up in this portion of it, make it, and then write it. You'll want to make sure and put the card in this protective sleeve because we are going to be using the dry erase marker, and that way it protects and we can continue to reuse this say it, make it card. So I have put the sight word me in the say it. So whatever you put at the top, you're going to have them say it. What's this word? Me. You can put the child's name there and they can read their name. You can put individual alphabet letters if you want to work on individual alphabet letters. Talk about that word me, how it's made with straight and curved lines. And the second letter E, or E, it makes it long or short vowel sound, M, E. You can hear it say its name. So you can talk about say it, you can talk about what it looks like, because now we're going to make it. Now make it, you can do it with your magnetic letters. You can make it using pom-poms, your pony beads. You can get out goldfish crackers. You can get out mini marshmallows. Make that letter or make that high frequency words in the make it portion. Again, talk about how when they're making that letter, what shape it is, what sound the letters are. And then you go to write it. That's when they're going to use their writing utensil, and they're going to actually write the word me, or write the letter, or write their name. Again, if they have difficulty, go ahead and write it first and let them trace it. Or you can write it with a dry erase marker. They can take their finger and they can erase it with their finger. Just push down and use that pointer finger to follow the lines of the letter and erase it with their finger. So say it, make it, write it. Again, your sight words or your high frequency words, we're going to work on those. We can work on your child's name, and you can work on the alphabet letters that we have been learning so far, A through L. A through L. If you're ready to go on to the other ones and they've been working on those are fine too. Sometimes our child knows letters that we haven't even can learn those easier. So don't be afraid to just mix them up. There's no right or wrong way. We want to introduce all the letters. We want them to master them. That's our goal. They may master 5 of the first 10 letters of the alphabet and master the remaining. You know, they may just have difficulty with certain letters. So just because they haven't mastered A through J doesn't mean that they can't master the remaining of the alphabet. So just keep exposing your children to the different letters of the alphabet and say them, sound, name it, say the sound, make it, take those manipulatives and make the letter, and then go ahead and write the letter. This is an opportunity to go ahead and get out that name kit that we made, and you can use those for the make it portion, the puzzle that's in there, the popsicle sticks, and have them put that in order to make their name, and again, then move on to write it. So this activity is say it, make it, write it. It's a good activity for both handwriting and for the high frequency words. Again, make sure you're on a good writing surface when you're doing this activity so that your child can develop good habits in their writing. Really work on that proper pencil grasp, get them to move down toward the end of the pencil. Sometimes we have students who hold the pencil really well up here, but you have better control when they work it down towards the bottom of the pencil. So move from this to a better, more mature grasp, and move from way up here all the way down to having better control at the bottom. Again, flat surface that's hard and conducive for writing to set up those good habits. So where a child's not raising their hand or having to push on a bed or a couch or a soft surface. We want a good writing surface for them so they can develop those good habits. Say it, make it, write it. Enjoy that activity. The next activity is kick the ball on the word. Kick the ball on the word. This activity obviously is going to be done outdoors if you're going to be kicking a ball, depending on the size of the ball and how you feel about ball play inside the home. It can be done indoors if you want to use cups and do more of a smaller ball and roll the ball to the high frequency word. But the object of the game is you are going to have several cups. You can use just Sharpie markers on the cup if they're a solid looking cup. Mine were clear, so I went ahead and used my Post-it notes. And the pros and cons of that is I can switch these around and I can add letters to my cups because I just have to take off the Post-it note versus if it's written on the cup, that's pretty permanent. So I have me and I, the high frequency words we're using this week, and you are going to write these on several cups. So you'll have several cups with me and several cups with I written on them. And then you're going to have your child kick the ball, and you're going to maybe instruct first. You may say, kick the ball to kick the ball, and wherever they kick it and it hits the cup, you say, what word did you kick it to? And talk about that sight word. That word is me. Say the word me. Have them repeat it. Again, talk about it. It has 2 letters. That word is me. They get the ball again, they kick the ball, and they might hit I, or they may hit another me again. What word did you kick it to? You kicked it to what word? Can you read that? Great, reading. That word is I. So really reinforce it. Repeat it. Repeat the word. Help them to say it and repeat after you. Just really do some good modeling with these words. Now, this isn't the only words you can use. You can go ahead and add the child's name, and they may kick it, and you may specifically say, kick it to your sister's name, kick it to your name, kick it to mommy, kick it to daddy. So they can start learning other people's names in the family. So they start to recognize not only high frequency words, but names. So add their name, add other people's names. And again, you can either have them kick the ball and they read what they kicked it to, or you can specifically say, kick it to the word me. And that takes better coordination. That way they have to actually read it and then have the coordination to kick it specifically to that word. So we are going to kick the ball to the high frequency words. Again, you can use letters on these cups. If we're working on our letters, you can introduce the name on the cups and family members' names, so you can really extend that activity. And again, you can take this indoors and maybe do something smaller and kick it or roll it to a specific cup, almost like bowling. But again, fun activity for kick the ball to the word. The last activity on the platform this week is our alphabet soup. And this is just going to be a review activity. You might add, if you're doing just lowercase, you might add M and E in there and see if they can find the letters that pull out the letters that spell that sight word. You can use just the letters in their name. You can use the letters that they have mastered and a few that they're struggling with, so they are successful yet challenged. You can do it a lot of different ways, but again, alphabet soup, I have in here just the uppercase. So an activity would be to have the lowercase spread out on the table. And they use their spoon to pull out a letter and they identify it. And they name the letter, talk about how it's made, touch that letter. All these senses help that child learn the letter, the whole tactile part of it, the scene of it, listening to the sound that it makes, talk about the sound that the K makes, and then they can match it to the lowercase letter that's on the table. You can use those sentence strips that you have with the alphabet on them and have them match that way. So it really incorporates all kinds of learning. It incorporates the matching aspect of it, the uppercase to the lowercase concepts, the concept of identifying the letter sound. So all of those in just one activity. Again, you can use just the letters of their name, and they can write their name once they pull all the letters out and talk about where they are in their name. This is the first letter of your name. So again, a lot of different skills can be taught in just one activity. And I'm sure, as I've seen in our Facebook page, I see a lot of that happening. Parents, you're doing such a great job with your kiddos at home. And I see a lot of learning take place. And I see a lot of extensions of these activities that you are creating on your own. And that's just awesome. It's really neat to see. So that is our alphabet soup activity. Finally, this week, our social emotional component of our lesson is kindness. We have spent the past couple of weeks doing a lot of talking about emotions and what the different emotions look like, and how to regulate those emotions and read those emotions in others. This week, our emphasis is on kindness. And research has shown that kids who have a good understanding on how to receive and extend kindness struggle less with anxiety and worry and are generally happier people. They also have an easier time focusing in their schoolwork when they have the ability to receive and extend kindness, because they learn to move from their self and extend that to recognizing the needs and feelings of others. So how do we teach kindness to children? At a young age, children generally are all about me. One of the first words a child learns is mine. Everything is about themselves. That's mine. That's my name. Everything that they own, that's mine. We have difficulty sharing. So it's one of the things we talked about too, is working on sharing. So sharing and those emotions is kindness is one step beyond that. And the easiest and best way truly to teach kindness is to be a good model of kindness and to identify and talk about kindness when your child is being kind. Use that word. For instance, if you model kindness by, talking about, I'm making daddy's favorite dinner. That's an example of being kind. You recognize someone else's wants and desires, and you are meeting it by making something special. So talk about those things. Model those behaviors when you're at the store. Hold a door open for somebody. Ask, when your child holds the door for you, or they help you, instead of saying, thank you for being such a good helper, you can actually specifically say, thank you for being so kind. It is so kind when you help me. So then they make that connection. Oh, when I do something nice for somebody, or I help somebody, that's being kind. And it's a good feeling, especially for young children, to feel like they are doing something special or important for somebody. And they learn to really recognize how good it feels to extend kindness to somebody else. And then they learn to recognize it when people extend kindness to them. And then we can work on, those reminders of good manners. You thank someone who does something kind for you, and use those words. Remember, they did something kind for you. What do you need to say? Or that was so kind of you to share with your brother or sister. Be very specific in the words that you use, so they can learn those vocabulary words and make those connections to their actions, that what we do have importance, and what you do to others is important as well. So kindness is a big one. It really is an important one that we talk about in school. They talk about bucket fillers. They use that term often in the public school. And to have your bucket filled means that people say good things and nice things to you. People are kind to you. That fills your bucket. That means it fills your soul. It makes you happy. It feels good to have someone do kind things, but it's also important to be a good bucket filler. So recognizing when someone is having a hard time, or recognizing when someone needs help, and taking that initiative and going about being kind. Again, it's all about modeling those instances of being kind and labeling it, making sure to use that word so they can make those connections. Great opportunity at this time of the year. Random acts of kindness or being kind. It's Thanksgiving coming up, and it's the things that we're grateful for and thankful for, and kindness is a big one of those things to be grateful and thankful for. I'm thankful for you, parents. Again, what an opportunity to spend time with your child and being engaged with them in their early learning. And what a wonderful experience for your children. Although sometimes it's frustrating, And it may not seem like something you're grateful for and thankful for. Truly, these are memories you are making with your child. Anytime a child gets me time with a loved one, is a bucket filler. It really makes them feel special and valued. And it is something they're going to remember when they're older. You may not realize these memories you're making right now, but I know as a parent of adult children, my boys frequently talk about moments I spent with them and how much it means to them. It's not the things that I purchased them. They don't remember those things. It's the quality time that you spend with them. And even if it's sitting down and reading a book, or it's playing one of the games that are on the platform, that time is precious and these memories are being made. So keep up the good work, parents, and we'll see you next week.